to be attempting to make my own DIY stripe kit. It's not even really attempting, I'm going to make it. Just don't know how well it's going to work out and how happy I'll be with the results. But basically I have all the parts for it except for I bought this pintle hitch plate receiver to bolt it to. I've already got a hitch on the mower that's going to make it easily removable. If I need to modify it, it's going to get wore out, so when I have to remake it, it's going to make everything easy. So I already have all the parts for it, so I'm going to have about $40 invested in it just for buying that plate. Alright, for attaching to that plate, I'm going to be using what's called Unistrut. It's got these pre-made holes already in it. It's like a C-channel. Give me something to mount the rubber mat to easily. Got the holes in the pintle plate. That's how we'll attach it. As it wears out, I'm hoping as the bottom of it wears out, I can drop it down into another set of holes. There's 4 sets on there. So I'm hoping as it wears out, I can just drop it down another set of holes. Looks like they are spaced about every 2 inches or so. So I should be able to get a fair amount of use out of this before I have to remake it, building it the way I want to. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to actually make the striping part of itself out of a horse mat. It's about a 3/4 inch thick piece of rubber. It's something I already had. We use it as a backdrop for shooting bow and arrow. We're going to try to cut it with a circular saw. Got a straight edge on there. The blade I have in the circular saw is for cutting vinyl. I have no idea if that's good or not. It's a finer tooth blade and it doesn't like have a hook on the blades. So this is going to be a complete experiment if that's the right way to cut it or not. Okay, ended up using a regular framing blade. That worked the best for cutting it, and being 3/4 inch thick, if you were cutting wood, you would set the blade a little bit deeper than 3/4 inch. Cutting the rubber, it actually worked out to set the blade only like 1/4 to 3/8 inch deep. Otherwise it would just kind of dig in and burn. Cutting it pretty shallow, the rubber wanted to like fold over, and it actually pretty much cut all the way through when you're only cutting it 3/8 of an inch deep. Doesn't make sense, but it worked. All right, we've got our Unistrut mounted onto our hitch plate. I'm gonna be setting the bottom of the roller about 1.5 inches above the ground, which will make it easy right now to set it on some 2x4s that are 1.5 inches tall while I try to bolt everything together. This mat's actually pretty heavy. Just this little section I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to say probably 30 pounds or so. So being it's rigid but still flimsy at the same time, it's going to be awkward to hold it in place by yourself. So it's got to get clamped on there, and ideally I should be able to just set it right on these 2x4s to get it clamped into place and drill the holes to mount it. All right, we're using 3/8 all thread rod to mount this thing. So I'm only drilling a 3/8 hole and gonna have to kind of force it through it. The smaller the hole, the less chance it's gonna wiggle around and actually rip the rubber, which we don't want. Definitely a snug fit, which is good. Put a large washer and a nut on it. I think we'll get the impact out for this, make life a little easier. I think we'll have to worry about that going anywhere. We'll probably bolt it, I don't know, every foot or so. Making sure it has plenty of support for the weight of it, and turning and for how hard it was to force through. We're going to try a quick little trick, see if it works out or not, if we got enough to do it with. Chuck your piece of rod up into the drill. Drill it. That worked out pretty good, didn't have to push it all, threaded itself right into there. Looks like it maybe ended up a tiny bit higher off the ground than I planned on. I wanted 1.5 inches. Looks like more like 1.75 inches. But it should work out just fine. We ended up at 10 inches. This is 62 inches long, but there's actually 60 inches worth of holes, so we'll put one every 10 inches. Had to skip this middle hole, clamps in the way, we'll get everything else bolted on and come back to it. Plenty of ways to cut metal. You can use a sawzall, hacksaw. I'm using a cord band. Luckily I've got one. Not everybody has this for sure. The height this is mounted at, part of the mower's in the way. So definitely chucking them up this way is going to be the easier route. Be a real pain trying to push them all through all the way. And just back them off. You don't want to chuck them up too tight and mar your threads all up. Now for anybody that's actually followed me along, this is a Woods mowing machine. It's a 61-inch deck on it. This actually lays down some really nice stripes already. The deck has a lot of suction. It really lifts all the blades and whatnot up, but there's always room for improvement. The main reason I really wanted to do this is to get rid of the tire stripes. Some people actually like that. Kind of creates a different pattern having the tire stripes and the deck stripes, but you look at some of the really nice striped lawns and baseball fields and whatnot, you're not seeing any kind of tires on there. Everything's done with a striping kit. So altogether, at this point, might have 20 minutes into it. All right, got it on there. I think last thing I'm gonna wanna do to it is, I think I'm gonna cut some relief strips in it. That way if it gets caught, bound up on anything, hopefully it'll have some give and doesn't wanna break off. So I think we're gonna cut maybe like three relief strips in it, so they'll be like 15-inch sections, and hopefully we don't have any issues with it wanting to tear. I'm only gonna cut them about maybe 4 or 5 inches deep. Probably gonna use the bandsaw for it. That should cut through the rubber pretty easily. So that'll be our last step. Huh? I'm gonna cut this with this saw.
Tell me when.
It's not loud. That way if it catches on something, it won't tear it and break it. results from it. I'll have a time-lapse video showing it. We're definitely gonna adjust it. One side's like barely even touching on the grass where the other side's touching. It's off-centered some, so one side's heavier, so it automatically shifts on its own. We got a little bit of results from it though. Did kind of a different pattern than what most people would go with. I don't know if you can really see how it kind of creates like a wave pattern to it. But stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, do all that good stuff, whatever you want. If you want to see an update on it, I'm going to lower it down about 2 inches so it's actually dragging on the ground. Say one side's barely touching the tips of the grass, so majority of what you see striped there is pretty much all the mower, nothing to do with the striping kit. For anybody that's wondering, it's the Woods mower, which I said earlier, but the Woods and Grasshopper are about 95% identical. So if anybody's wondering how well a certain mower stripes, that's pretty much results right there. All right, you guys have a good one.